Very true.
You know, because it would be like the Globe's always talking about supporting evidence and being congruent with all its other evidence, right? They're always championing that correlation. Therefore, like in our case, okay, well, we've already proven that the surface is a level surface, that water is level. Now we can show and demonstrate how natural observations of the sun don't match up with the natural explanation for the sun. So
yeah, but I mean, I personally don't take his word for it, which is why I'm going to go out and verify this.
oh
for
yeah,
myself.
absolutely. It's not something we need him to do, which is great.
No.
I mean, I feel confident enough that okay, let's see. If I'm using a sextant and I'm checking the angle and degree of the sun, let's see, like 14 times a day, or I guess however long it's in the sky. I guess right now it's winter, so it's probably like what, 10 hours. So if I get 10 data points, or if I get 20 data points, so every 30 minutes, so I can make dots on a chart and then connect the dots and like, hey, look, that's the arc of the sun. And then I can compare those 20 dots to whatever it is, wherever you're at, when it's at your tropic, 6 months later. That wouldn't be hard to do. We didn't need footage for that. I'm just saying that, like, if we had the footage, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, we'd obviously have to verify the distance between the points and things as well along the ground. Well, there's a few other things you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as opposed to that, the
Accurate
beauty
times.
of what Corey is claiming is that you can actually replicate it by yourself. You wouldn't have to rely on having a network of people that you trust to all take these measurements, which would be great.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Also, there's nothing wrong with it. But.
Yeah, I'll be doing mine from sea level and then hopefully up to around 800 meters.
Nice.
So that's the elevations I've got. Yeah, I can't get any higher than that, unfortunately.
So then all you would need to do, I mean, it doesn't really matter the latitude you're doing it from. It would just be important that the person you're comparing data with is on the same opposing latitude 6 months later.
For your particular thing, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, the burden would be on the next person who does it.
That's right. Unless, of course, all this rubbish stops and we just get to fucking travel freely again and do whatever we want.
Yeah, but I don't think you'd actually travel to the U.S. to do something like that, would you?
Hey, I've always wanted to go to the US for a holiday, and if I was over there for a holiday, I'd probably line up.
Well, let's see. You're let's see. What's your latitude at? 37.8? Negative 37.8?
Yeah, somewhere there.
Okay. Then yeah, we just need the opposite of that. Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, maybe this has already been done. You know what I mean?
Comparing the arcs or Corey's job? What are you talking about?
Yeah, like, I just get the feeling like this could have been done already. So let's say you were in Oakland, California. That would be 37.8 latitude. So that would be the opposing latitude. Oakland, California. Let's see where else.
Do you want to make it over now?
What is this test exactly?
Yeah, so we're just comparing the lengths of latitude, but you know, apparent arc of the sun.
Nice.
So like on a globe, okay, it's like comparing latitudes on the ground. Except the problem is that that's all ocean. So that would, you know, like I wouldn't feel confident about that. But if we were just looking at the arc of the sun, let's say at like, you know, the in equivalent opposing latitude north and south, then on a globe, those should be the same arc. And on a flat Earth, the arcs would look different. Now, I know this is apparent, but if we can consistently observe this arc to be different, have an entirely different shape, then we can conclude that the globe explanation is not consistent with the observation.
Exactly. And one thing that actually shows this directly is a sundial, because a sundial, the way that the mainstream probably would describe it is they would only say that, oh, well, you're just measuring the mark of the position of the sun to get the time. However, the actual angle that it's called a gnomon, the little rod that's over the flat disc, but the actual angle of that shadow has its own like parabolic, its own unique structure to it.
Yeah.
And it being different in the north and the south is a direct way to measure that.
You're right. So we wouldn't even need a camera pointing at the sun. All we'd have to do is literally leave out a sundial at both latitudes, opposing latitudes, and graph out the arc on a piece of paper.
Yep.
That would be way simpler.
Yeah, but
I mean,
they
we
have
could record it
stories
with a camera.
to account for that.
I don't give a fuck. We'd have all the data. They can yap their mouth all they want, but if it looks different, the globe sucks.
No, but they already know that, and they have a story to account for it.
Yeah,
That's
what is
my
the
point.
story?
What they don't, I don't know what the story is, but I can guarantee they've got one. They've got a
Oh,
story for fucking all
well.
sorts of shit. But the point of it is, you know, if there's no story that they've got that says the sun travels more than 45 degrees in 3 hours. So if we can show that, they don't have a story for that. That fucks them up.
Okay.
But sundials have been around forever and a fucking day. They definitely have a story for that. And if they don't, you've just proven fucking no globe. And I
Because
stand
3
corrected.
hours later at 45 degrees, the sun should still be center mass. If it's not center mass and it's past 45 degrees, globe dead.
Okay.
Exactly. And they don't have a story for that.
Well, that's good too. I'm just an amateur trying to be creative.
And he's saying he's got measurements of 47, 48, 49, which will be way out of the realm of possibility for a globe that's turning. But I would like, that's cool that you're going to do it though, because I want to do that too.
Yeah, I mean, if it just takes a sundial and then we can, let's see, what would be the easiest way?
Well, like I said, I think like what I would say in the mainstream is that they do agree that the sundial will show the position, but they're not really equating the actual angle and the arc and the parabolic movement of the shadow. Like if you were to do a time lapse, like a fast motion,
exactly,
yeah. And a lot of these sacred sites, like these sacred geometric sites, like things like the pyramids and Machu Picchu and these places, many of them have like built-in sundials into the architecture. So essentially part of the unique skill of that with the geometry of the earth to create those sundials at those different locations, especially those like power centers, you have to know not only how the sun tracks in general, but you have to know how it tracks in that actual area to get the particular shadow, like to come through the rocks and the different arrangements. Like it's unique to that region, which shows that as well.
And over time as well. Like they must have had good knowledge that it was going to remain that way for a long time. Fucking hell.
And they're still accurate. Like that one, that Hindu one or whatever it is, that's the coolest one I've ever seen. It's still dead accurate to the minute.
Yeah, this could be really cheap, guys, to set up. It'd be super cheap. Like, I mean,
do you know if there's a formula for the little the little stick they have on the sundials? Like, how do they calculate the angle and all of that?
So check it out, man. We could just have like a little piece of cardboard with like a needle pin, and then just mark a dot every hour, or even or more than that, on where the pin is on the sheet.
Yeah, you can make one. Yep. Although, well, the gnomon is more than just a pin, though. It is at an angle.
Yeah, that's why I just asked.
Yeah, if you angle it in the declination of the sun, then you can even get a more accurate reading because you're bringing in an additional geometry.
Okay.
Seasonal.
Yeah, but it can be done with even just like you said, like even as something as a good old stick in the ground.
Well, like, what if? I mean, this could be cool, man. This could be cool. Like, some people would be able to do this, and then we could just have a collection of these data points, and see what shapes they make.
Just start a hashtag sundial challenge on TikTok
Well,
over here.
I mean, I would honestly just I'd probably make a Discord and set some instructions in a room that nobody can write in. Just follow these instructions, and then make a ticket system for people to submit their data, and just keep track of everything and organize it. And if anybody needs help, I can like show them what works and how to use it, and whatever.
Dude, that would be amazing to have parabolic arc measurements of sundials from all over the world, and have like a whole database of it with like fast motion video, time lapse of it, like even like giving people that option to like so they could all be, and then you could like sync them up, and you could create like a map system where you could click on one, and then you could, because that would help in terms of the model too.
Well, we don't even need to do one type of observation. Like, we could have maybe like 2 or 3 different types of tests. So if somebody wants to do something cheap, they can. If they want to do like a little bit more complicated, they can, and have different ticket submissions for that. So then we can have different types of data. So
You would basically be checking the work of timeanddate.com. You'd be grading their papers and
oh yeah, they'd be fucked because I already know it's wrong. I already know it's
exactly
wrong.
That would be amazing. And then even combine that with other things as well, like some of the other ones you were talking about as well, like the what Whitesword is talking about with the this just all like a lot of other, like combine it with other things as well, like just sun angles and
and daylight times sunlight as opposed to daylight. Like the first one I would like to see is someone on the tip of South America in like December 21st looking at sunrise time and to sunset and seeing how much actual sunlight they get December 21st.
Well, you know what an easy way to do this would be to come out with a graphic that you can print out on a piece of paper, where to put the needle, and it would be a specific type of needle to verify its size and dimensions. And then people who have like security cameras, or maybe we can find a cheap one on Amazon that could just be on all day recording this motion, so you don't even have to do anything. You just upload the video. I mean, the more that you can automate this so that we can get our own calculations and upload it to a model, so we can like see the light sources and then maybe try to triangulate or make a graphic of what the actual motion of the light in the sun is. All this could be done with fucking like these time-lapse videos of sundials in all these different locations. That's fucking insane. That would be so cool.
And in their video, you would want something like either on a cell phone or something verifying the direction they're looking and what time and day it is and where they're at, their location.
Well, that's
people would try to muddy the water with nonsense
true.
Where they could be. It might really be 6 p.m. in California, and they're claiming that they're in Australia and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'd have to be some verification type system, perhaps.
Well, I mean, I would keep it open to people that we know in the community, first of all. And then I would want like maybe like a like in the video put like a little compass next to it so that in the time lapse you can see the direction of the compass, and maybe like a digital clock next to it, and then we could fast forward and watch the sundial make its motion, and the graphic that we make will have like different angles or lines on it so that we can verify its angle and stuff, like just visually we can just see where it is on the graph.
Yep. Yeah. Another thing to add in would be moon dials as well, which is similar to a sundial but for the moonlight, and then and then have those all be as well. So sundials and moon dials. Then we could start to map together and model the actual interrelationship between the sun and the moon in that whole cycle.
Well, I mean, you could just keep the video going all night, right? I don't know. I mean, you could have a 24-hour video that cuts itself up every so often, and then everybody just uploads their videos.
I do like the idea of the sundial too, because it's a result of what the sun's doing instead of trying to pinpoint the apparent location of the sun.
Yes.
You're looking at the result.
Right.
So I do like that idea.
Well, it's also so much easier, right? You don't need equipment that's looking at the sun, which reduces its cost, reduces the power requirement. You could literally put it just like on a flat spot at your house somewhere. And some data would be better than others because, you know, people, maybe they put it in their backyard and there's like fences or trees or whatever. But for the most part, for the larger chunk of the day, it would still have good data, possibly. But then someone else may have it out in the field somewhere where it's getting the full length of the sun entering and exiting. So like the idea would just to be have enough, let's get as many data points as we can. And some evidence will be better than others. So it would just be whatever we could get.
And I did see something similar to this where some guy had some sort of post or even the corner of his house or something where it would cast a certain shadow. So he would orient his camera in the same spot every single day. And then he made his own chart, like you're saying, kind of.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem, right? Is that a chart by itself is actually just worthless. We need to have a lot of people doing it in different places to compare latitude motion.
Yep.
That's the only way that's useful.
Sure. And I would also like to see, like I said, someone in like the middle of South America, and the top of South America, and the tip bottom of South America in December 21st, when sunrise to sunset, to see how many actual hours of sunlight. In timeanddate.com, the further south you do go, the more hours allegedly there is of actual sunlight, not daylight, but sunlight.
Okay.
If they say that there's 17 and a half hours of sunlight at the tip of South America.
Yeah.
So that's like most of that.
Well, here's an easy way to do this. So whatever camera we recommend people use to, like, let's say, look at the sundial, maybe there is a way to lock in the exposure so that at every point we're getting an actual like color profile of the pixels, like a consistent color profile of the pixels. So we know exactly how hot or dim each pixel is so that we can get an accurate reading of the light. So, I mean, yeah, they have instruments that do this, but if they're already using a camera, it would just be easier to set the exposure to a particular number.
Oh, yeah.
So it would basically be the same thing without having to buy something.
We might as well streamline and eliminate
Yeah.
variables as much as possible. Anyway,
Exactly.
so-
That's what I'm saying. Like there needs to be a step-by-step kit that people assemble, and you just press a button and it runs after you've set it up. And then, they upload their data every so often from the SD card or whatever they're using. It doesn't even need to be high res. Not at all. It just needs to be, let's look at this graph. Let's get an accurate reading of consistent, luminance using a particular exposure. And let's make sure it's facing the right direction. But yeah, just the variables that matter. Just make sure they're standardized.
Dude, you guys are totally creating reality right now.
I think it's totally possible. Like this is
It's
super
awesome.
easy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You could even create a product like a science.
Yes,
type of
I could
product.
sell it. I could sell it for $50
and-
or whatever. Like
and
getting
like,
like a cheap
people buy
action
it for,
cam
like, their
comes with a
10-year-old
printout
kid.
and a needle and
Yeah.
like a little instruction manual, and then they just plug it in, do what it says. Like getting a compass and a printout piece of paper with a needle and like an action camera. You know how cheap cameras are from fucking China right now? Like it wouldn't be that expensive to set up and just sell as a kit.
Yeah, and I mean, and when I say product, I mean they have like science products where people will buy it for their kid to learn different science things for like
Dude.
their 10-year-old or their 12-year-old.
That we could totally pretend
Just
this
don't
is
label
for
it flat Earth.
exactly. We could pretend it's for kids to do something entirely different, and then suddenly we're getting all this data, and it's for flat Earth.
That's what I'm saying, because if you, and it's not me
Hey,
personally,
if
I'm
you
just
work
throwing
for,
it out there.
if you work
that,
for Huawei,
that if someone did do it and they're good with
Right.
social media and all that, people would be doing TikToks and uploading with their 10-year-old or 12-year-old doing this experiment. I mean, it's obviously lofty idea or whatever, and I don't think I would do it myself. But
Well, you know what would be? We'd have to market it as like a fun toy for kids, like a sundial science kit or something, and then we'd have to give it some other sort of value to make parents want to buy it.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
not going to be like millions of people buying it. It'd probably be however many hundreds or thousands or whatever, but it would still be data points,
yes.
essentially. But I don't know how much you'd be able to trust data points of a 10-year-old with their
Well,
goofy
you
dad.
you
doing it.
basically, well, you see, okay, if they submit data, you can tell right away if it's useful or not, because they got the video. And if it's not good data, we just don't use it. Just throw it out. Go next.
It would end if that did get any ground, it would cause them to move their goalpost again.
Yeah, they'd have to say that
Is what they would do.
the Earth is just a little bit fatter at the bottom, like pear-shaped.
and it turns out it's not spinning.
Isn't it funny though? Like being fatter in the middle is not a pear shape, but he used pear shape as if it's bigger in the bottom. Like it's almost as if he
exactly.
knows what the fuck he's lying about and misspoke.
Yeah, he's given his specific rhetoric to say.
Well, yeah,
It's-
but
it's-
to
it's-
specifically
the
say
timing's
it like that
impossible.
makes it sound like he knows what he's lying about specifically.
Yeah, yep. I'm sure he does. And if not, he's just an idiot that's saying what he was told to say. But in either case, it's still bullshit. And it's still mathematically the timing of it, like how people are setting up balloons and we can see there's no curvature, and then he comes out with his little thing about you can't see curvature from that height. The timing is impeccable. So obviously someone's having him do
definitely.
that.
Well, there's a bunch of kids
Yeah,
out
they
there right
responded.
now who they think science is cool, right? So we got to come up with a creative part about this that makes it fun. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
And even if not a product, like you said, the template for it, so that they could do it themselves and buy their own little
Yeah.
sundial and whatever.
Well, honestly,
you know?
man, I'd rather let's just get it perfected for ourselves. So we got a system going so that We just
Yeah.
know what to do. And it could be autonomous, and we're just, constantly collecting data quietly.
But you'd
And
be-
Yeah,
if
there
somebody
is-
wants to challenge us, well, guess what, fucker? I've got all the videos. So,
Yeah. You need someone that knows a lot more, is a lot more tech savvy with computers and stuff than me to do that for sure.
well, dude, it's just, if you set it up physically right, then all you have to do is take out the SD card every couple days, because the file format's going to be small. Like if you've ever seen those home security cameras, they're not recording in high quality. So they can take like a lot of video. You can reduce the video. We don't need a lot of video quality. It just needs to be able to see the graph. So we can get a really cheap camera. You know what I mean?
I mean,
And,
when you take that data and put it into something and do all that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, of course, but we could get there, like that's not that difficult actually, but yeah, we need somebody who would be really efficient, or, used to doing data like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going up you'd be going up against the time and date giant and the other various.
Yeah, fuck them. I don't care.
Um,
The thing
that'd be
is, I know
great.
they're wrong, because every day, like I told you, I watch the sun rise and sunset every day. I know it's wrong. Every fucking day, I open my app and I check when it's sunrise and sunset, and it's always wrong. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes, but it's like always wrong. So if it's wrong at the sunrise and sunset, then I wonder how wrong it is during the day. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when there's the least refraction. It shouldn't be wrong during the day. And the arc shouldn't be different during the day on opposing latitudes. So that would be the whole point of like looking into this, I think. Plus, if we do have this data, possibility, bro, that we could find a lot of other shit out. Just depends on how many data points we get.
Yeah, as far as how the sun and stuff's really working.
I think this is the next step. I think people need to stop fucking around with these cameras, looking at water and shit, and arguing with these globers. I think we need to just leave the globers behind. If they want to get involved, they can. But it's just got to be honest.
Yeah.
If they want to help, that's cool. Otherwise, yeah, it's there's a limit of the beneficialness of just letting them.
I mean, I don't really care about this like toy product, whatever. I'm trying to think of ways to get more data points.
Yeah, exactly.
But if we
That's why
can
I
come
brought
up with a
that up.
solid system, I imagine flat Earth people would just start gravitating to want to help.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's why I mentioned a product in the first place, because people do these experiments and stuff with their kids just for the sake of doing it. Like once they get to a certain age and stuff like that, and they create hype on TikTok and what else?
Well, like,
Whatever else.
what if we came up with a kit that we could send out to, like, I don't know, like grade school, middle school teachers or something, and they could turn it into something they just do for their class?
That's
you
not
know?
gonna happen.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
It might though,
thinking.
because it's innocuous. It's not like, hey, here's a flat Earth test kit. It's
No.
just
It has nothing to do with flat
Earth.
Earth. It just has to do
Exactly.
with how sundials work
Yeah, so
and what you can infer from them.
You might be right. Like if I had the money, I would
just
pay.
like younger
I would
kids,
spend that.
not
You know what I
like
mean?
complicated shit. Just like, hey, look, here's sundial. I don't know. I'm just making shit up.
They would probably make up refraction. They'd probably throw it in some kind of refraction category.
Yeah, but
that's the moving
refraction
definite
works
part.
great if you only have one data point. You see what I'm saying? This is why I was saying, like, it doesn't help that this one guy is doing these things by himself.
But they'd have to have they'd also have to have a reason as to why it's different in the southern and the northern, just because of. See, they already have this problem, like the temperature differences in the north and the south, and the twilight differences, daylight versus sun. Yeah, and all the sun angles. It already goes against their model.
And things grow a lot better in the northern hemisphere than in the south. Like it's regardless of all that, man. I just think these angles are the key to like on land. What do you mean?
Oh, dude, we've been talking about it. We've been talking about it.
Oh, really?
No, I'm saying that we've talked about this. You talk about sub-solar point measurements.
Yes, that's what Jeremy wanted to maximize the data to get the subsolar points along between the tropics. He talked about doing that, and it was shot down by flat earthers.
Oh, that's why that's the weird.
Damn.
That's the weird part of why you're saying shot down. You haven't been here for over a month. We've been talking about it constantly, evolving it, growing it, adding to it.
I haven't.
We've actually had many conversations. So yeah, it's being nobody ever shot it down. It's always been a great idea. He got a little bit at one point. He got a little. It seemed like, I don't know if discouraged is the right word. Only in how much it would take to do, just the time, the energy.